Hello again. It's the OhioRAAM show coming to you from Southwest Ohio, where we're sponsored by two time stations in the race across America, a time station at Oxford, Ohio, and the time station at Blanchester, Ohio. That's 41 and 42 this past year. Unless there's changes, that'll be the numbers again this year. And this is a show about not just the race across America, but it's a show about cycling, ultracycling, anything in those areas. We just happen to be sponsored by these time stations, and we want to always tell people that they're there 24 hours a day for the race across America, which by the time this show airs, we'll be looking toward 2016 and planning for that. So we're just glad to be able to do this, and we're glad to have Amy Miller on the show with us from up in Michigan. Won't say any more about that. Just get on with talking to Amy. How are you tonight, Amy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. And where are you at in Michigan, Amy?
We're in Holland, right on the west coast, right near Lake Michigan.
Okay. How far north is that? Help me orient.
It's sort of in the southwest corner of Michigan.
Okay. I think I'm sure I've been there before, but I used to have reason to go to Benton Harbor from time to time, but
No, we're a little north of Benton Harbor.
A little north of Benton Harbor. Okay, I got you oriented there. Yeah. Well, Amy, when I was talking to one of your cycling friends, I said, who do you know that you think would make a good guest on the show? And your name cropped up, and we're just glad to have you here with us. So tell us a little about yourself, Amy, your life that exists when you're not riding a bicycle.
Oh, well, there's a lot going on. I've been married to Sean for about 19 years. We have two teenage high school age daughters. I homeschooled them for many years. They've been in school now for 2, so that took lots of my time. We also own a fitness center together, Flex Fitness Center in Holland, Michigan. So now I spend a lot of my hours of the day managing staff there and running things over there. So.
Okay, and well, having a fitness center, I can understand that connection between you and cycling, but how long have you been in cycling? How did you get into it? What attracted you?
Oh, well, I have a couple different spaces in time, I guess, that I would call myself a cyclist. One was when I was rather young, started around age 9. My dad got me connected to a Hope College event, sort of a triathlon, and I only did the cycling part of that. It was a 10-mile race, and I won my age group several years when I was between the ages of 9 and 14 and really enjoyed that. Somehow stopped doing that at some point. Something about that changed, and the cycling went away. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, I decided it would be a great idea to ride in the National 24-Hour Challenge. So that's really my start in cycling, was when my brother and I decided to ride with my dad in that event. He'd been riding in that event for about 25 or 30 years at that point, and we thought it'd be a great Father's Day present for him if we rode along. So we did.
Well,
and just sort of gone from there.
Yeah, as we were chatting, and I didn't put my own mug up here. I'll do it briefly so people won't just tune out when they see it, but I am Lee Craig, the host of this show. But when we were talking, Amy, about doing this show, you mentioned that your father was pretty important in getting you into cycling, and I guess that explains something of it, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. He started riding the 24-hour ride the second year of the event, so he's been in there 30-some years now. So it's been a sort of a family affair. Every Father's Day weekend, the family, my mom and grandpa and my siblings and I have all taken turns crewing for my dad. And about 7 years ago, my brother and I decided we were going to ride instead of crew for him. So that was quite an adventure. It was a lot of fun, and we made plans to do it again the next year, and it's just sort of been a yearly thing.
And I have this great photograph up right now of you and your father. What's his name, by the way?
Dave Geerlings is his name.
Oh, okay. And so 6 years for you to be seriously into distance racing.
Yes. Yep, that's really the only race, I suppose, that I've done. I've done some other local riding. There's a Holland 100 ride that goes right around the lakeshore area here that he and I have ridden together a few different times, and that's just more of a leisurely ride, not necessarily a race. And then a couple of years ago, I did go up with a crew of people to Grayling, and I did the Black Bear tour up there as well. So.
And how have you performed in that 24-hour? What's the
24 hours has been an interesting event for me. I've managed to add miles every year that I've done the event. My dad and I have taken the father-daughter category a couple of the years, which has been a lot of fun. I was women's overall runner-up 2 of the 6 years, and then last year I managed to win myself a silver bowl with the help of a great crew and team. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, I know your husband is just around the corner there. Why don't you pull him in the picture here? Let's get acquainted with him a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Find out what he does.
There you go.
Hey,
Hi, Sean.
Hey, how are you, Lee?
Good, good. Now, when we were talking about doing this, I found out that you're not unfamiliar to Google Hangouts on Air. You actually do video shows and work with this, so it made it real easy getting together here with you this time around.
Yeah, welcome to our little video studio.
Your backdrop there with your green screen and what have you, that's something I think about from time to time, but always have some other project in the works. So what do you do with your video shows, Sean? Tell us a little about that.
Well, we talk about marketing and business coaching. We have, in addition to the fitness business that Amy mentioned, we work with entrepreneurs really all over the world. We work on personal branding and marketing and help them to sell really exclusive high-end programs. And so marketing on video is very, very important today. And as you know, you're using really cutting-edge technology here with Google Hangouts. And so congratulations to be a trendsetter in that. And we use Google Hangouts and we use YouTube shows. And, the thing I tell clients is that YouTube is actually far more popular than television today. So what you're producing is actually the most exciting and most popular media in the world today.
Well, we started this show, we're in our 4th year now, and I think we started shortly after Hangouts on Air became available. Actually, the crews here, or the time station workers, we were using Hangout video conferencing before the on-air came about. And it was through that because we're spread all over southwestern Ohio. And it was easy for us to meet that way and do our planning. But when Hangouts on Air became available, I guess I didn't know about it, but one of the other people says, why, somebody ought to do a show around this.
Sure.
And somehow or the other, I got nominated, and that person has since disappeared. Well, he hasn't disappeared. I know where he's at, but he's gone under a thing. He's crewing and done some officiating, what have you. But he got me in this, and I've been it ever since. I think it's a great way to spread the word about cycling. And one of the things that I've enjoyed about this, Sean and Amy, is the fact that through these teams, especially in the Race Across America, we have raised an awful lot of money for charities, for charitable concerns. I was just chatting with one of my friends before we went on the air here about what they're trying to do with their charity, and that's kind of become an agenda. The other one, Amy, has been to promote the role of women in this ridiculous sport of long-distance cycling, racing. And I don't know what's going on, but I think I think you're the 4th woman from Michigan. What are all the women up there into this?
That I don't know. I do know a few women that are pretty strong cyclists, and yeah, they're a lot of fun to ride with. They keep challenging me to ride stronger and be better as an athlete, and they're all very supportive of each other, and yeah, it's been interesting to get to know some other riders at some of these events.
Well, Amy, tell me what. Now we're recording this in March, and it's not going to show till probably the very first part of September. I'm doing that because I need to build up some shows to
Sure.
take me through a little hiatus that I got planned ahead. But so don't worry about the timing factor. What do you got planned for the future as far as racing goes?
I'm not sure what's in store. I would love to continue riding in the 24-hour challenge. I think that's a great event. It's a lot of fun just to be a part of that, and it's local to me, which is really fun. I don't have to travel long distance to get there. We can drive over in the morning and pack up and be home again afterwards. And there's a lot of people there that I'm getting to know over the years of being there. My family's been very involved with that, and that's important to me too, to have them close by. There's a few other local rides that I'd like to be involved in. I'd love to do Black Bear again this year. I would like to ride in the Holland 100 Tour again this year. Planning to go down to Ohio and ride in Calvin's Challenge also. Not sure what else might crop up on the calendar yet, though.
Well, I plan to be down at Calvin's Challenge, and as I said, this show will be aired after Calvin's Challenge has taken place. But I hope if you see me down there, you come and tap me on the shoulder if I don't see you first, and say hello, and we'll get a little video of you and some face to face time as well as
Sure.
As the video time. It's always nice to see. I love going to these events because it's so nice to meet the people that I've had on the show face to face.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if you come to Calvin's Challenge, let me just suggest to you that whatever clothing you might have in your bike locker, bring it.
All right.
Because we will promise you cold, wind, rain,
yeah.
maybe a little. It has been known to snow.
Oh, good.
I mean, you'll feel right at home from up there in Michigan. We like to throw everything you can. It's flat, or most of the route is flat, and there's nothing between the Calvin's Challenge route and St. Louis, Missouri, to stop the wind.
Oh, good.
So
yeah, I've heard that's a pretty windy event. So
you have not done it before, Amy?
I have not ridden in that ride before. No, this will be a first for me. So.
Well, you'll get to meet a lot of names that you know or heard of.
Yeah.
And that's a nice thing. And another nice thing about Calvin's Challenge, of course, I said this is going to come on after that, but there'll be another one another year.
Sure.
There are so many different categories. You got recumbents, you have human-powered vehicles, you have orbital bikes, you have hand crankers. Just about anything you can imagine will be there.
Sure.
It's a great thing.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. So, how about what age are your kids? What age are your children again?
Oh, they're 14 and 17. I have a high school freshman and senior this year.
Any prospective cyclists among them?
No, actually, not at this point. I have one that's a gymnast and one is a dancer. So they're athletes, just not cyclists.
Well, maybe at that age, they're still in that era where if mom is doing it, maybe it isn't really cool.
That may be. I can say that I was not a cyclist at that age either. That came on later, so maybe there's hope yet.
Actually, it was my kids that got me into cycling more than the other way around.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, listen, Amy, I'm just glad to have you with us here and get acquainted with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
And we hope to see you around and hear more from you. It's just a delight to be able to introduce people like you to our community, which spans around the world. We do have people all over the world who watch this and make your name known a little bit. And we hope to see you around. I have some suggestions of some races you might think about. There's a little farther from here, but
okay.
Be thinking, and we're really glad to have you. with us today, and I'm going to go ahead and close this up here in a little bit and give you. I'll be back to you in just a moment. Let me get some other things out of the way, out of the road here.
Sure.
I always like to point people out to ultracyclists.com. That's the place to go for anything you want to know about endurance bicycle racing, run by John Foote, one of the great guys in this sport, and he does such a wonderful job with that. So if you want to know what has happened, what's going to happen, how to make it happen, you'll find it there at ultracyclists.com. Give him a little shout out and give him a little support. He's doing a terrific job. We're just trying to get the word out on this sport. And of course our own website, which we like to tell you about, is the OhioRAAMshow.com. At that site you can find a list of all the shows that we've ever done, with the exception of 2 or 3 in the early days when Google or YouTube or somebody just swallowed them up and they disappeared into nothingness. But other than that, they're all there. And we're now in the 80s, and we're headed for the 100 show, which we'll probably do sometime this fall or maybe early winter. But we're trying to keep that going. There's a place there where you can leave your email address so you'll get notifications of future shows when they happen. There's a place there where you can leave your comments. There's links there to some other things that you want to know about. But our purpose here is simply to spread the word, and you do that when you see us on Facebook. Give us a like or a share there. Google Plus, give us a plus or a share there. See us on Twitter, give us a retweet. That always makes it happen. Anything you'd like to tell us that we haven't asked you about, Amy, before we say goodnight here?
Oh, I can't think of anything. Sean's making motions, but I'm not sure what all that means.
You got anything, Sean? Come on in.
Well, you know, Lee, she's so darn humble that she's hard to interview. So,
Well,
I'll tell you 2 funny stories. So, the first one, you know, she talks about riding with her dad. So, they rode that bike. She rode that race on the first time, the 24-hour. Did a couple training rides. Went out on a 30-year-old Fuji borrowed from her mother that was found in the garage, and managed what, 275,
220.
220, something like. Did you ride that 2 years or 1 year?
2.
So rode the 30-year-old Fuji 2 times, and I mean, I did about half the field probably anyway, and then 24-hour on that thing, which everybody started to say, who's this girl on this 30-year-old, metal bike? And so then she upgraded to something that her brother had laying around that still wasn't exactly fit for her or anything else, and rode that and managed to compete really at the highest level. I think there was 12th in the whole event last year on something that her brother left laying around. And so now she's got the Rock and Road shirt on there, and the Rock and Road guys have got her hooked up with a brand new Giant and all the fancy wheels and all the fancy equipment and all new gear, and she's playing at a whole new level now this year. So when she's awful humble, but we talk about going to these events and all this year, she's probably going to do pretty good.
Well, she's not alone. I found out that, and this seems to be a characteristic of some of the women I've had on the show recently, you just about have to drag their story out because so I have a rule, Sean. They're not allowed to say things like just or any of that diminutive things. We just don't let that happen. But thanks for coming in there and sharing a little bit about. You've got a brand new Giant now.
I do.
And well, we expect to hear more about you, and we're glad to get you on here and let people know about you. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I'm starting to laugh, and I got to watch myself because I have this problem with starting to laugh, and I can't get stopped. Thanks so much, Amy, for all of you for watching. You'll be watching for Amy Miller. Write that name down because I think you'll hear more of that as you watch the Ultra Race News and some of those places. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all your support. You do wonderful. We appreciate every bit of it. And with that, we're going to say good night.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.